You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and welcome to your weekend. In today's episode of Transits Today, we're going to walk through the entire astrological forecast for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll even take you into Monday. So if you are joining me live, get comfy, maybe grab something to snack on or sip on while we chat. And it is Venus Day after all. Feel free to indulge a little bit while we learn. And if you're finding this video later, I will go ahead and add some markers to the timeline on YouTube so you can jump to whichever day, whichever transit you are looking for guidance on. Rachel is here. Corby is here. Happy Friday to you. And before we get into the forecast, let's just get a check on what Pisces were born around this time. Olivia Wilde is a Pisces, and so is Osama bin Laden. Wide range here. Wide range. I love how many actors are Pisces because they can really get into the fantasy and almost take on another persona. You know, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is very much associated with TV and movies and taking us into other realms, if you will, through fantasy, through the screen. But also Pisces season can be a time of delusion, and I think we can all agree that there was a little bit of delusion behind what Osama bin Laden was doing. Chuck Norris is a Pisces too. I would not guess that. Sharon Stone, Carrie Underwood, John Hamm is a Pisces, Emily Osment, so many actors today. Robin Thicke, again, maybe a little delusional. Rick Rubin. All right, and just for fun, Barbara Corcoran. Let's see about this weekend. Any March 11th, Pisces, Anthony Davis, Terrence Howard, Johnny Knoxville. I also want to give a shout out, Alex Kingston, to our friend Josh, Jackie's partner. Jackie pops onto the live stream all the time, and I know that Josh, her partner, watches with her. So he is a Pisces. His birthday is this Saturday, and I want to send him some love. We always appreciate the guys who are willing to grow alongside their women, right? Liza Minnelli on Sunday. Can we just take a moment for Liza Minnelli? We love it. Mitt Romney is a Pisces. James Taylor. All right. Aaron Eckhart. And just for funsies, because I am going to take you all the way through Monday, we'll see. Tristan Thompson, again with the delusion, with maybe trying to create an illusion as well. We won't get into that whole rabbit hole. William H. Macy is a Pisces. Common. Kathy Hilton. All right, I think that's enough birthdays for one episode. Lots of people celebrating. So if you know someone celebrating their birthday this weekend, celebrating their solar return, give them a shout out in the comments so we can send some love their way as well. But without further ado, let's get a check on the current energy right now as we are live. The sun is in Pisces. The moon is in Libra. The moon will move into Scorpio later tonight, and then it will move into Sagittarius first thing on Monday morning. So all weekend, we're experiencing the Scorpio moon. Emotions could be intense this weekend. I'm just going to leave it at that. When the moon is in Scorpio, take it from someone who has a Scorpio moon in their birth chart, emotions can be a little intense. So something to be mindful of, not just within ourselves, but also within the people around us. If we can just give people grace who might be experiencing more intense emotions than they're normally used to, or the emotions that they normally feel might seem more intense than usual, seem deeper than usual, seem a little bit more uncomfortable than usual. Yeah, that's to be expected with a Scorpio moon. So let's just start with our Friday forecast. The waning gibbous moon in Libra as we speak. And in this releasing moon in Libra, as we just take this final moment to tap into her energy, we are invited to release and to find that internal balance. Under the waning gibbous phase, it's a time of introspection where we're really acknowledging and processing what came up under the full moon earlier in the week. And especially with this waning gibbous moon in Libra, it's like kind of calibrating or balancing, okay, what is this telling me about what I need to cultivate more of and what I need to release? There's kind of this balancing act that we're playing emotionally and internally. So remembering that Libra rules relationships, we are nurtured by those one-on-one relationships, bouncing our emotions off of other people, but that can easily turn into projecting our emotions onto other people. So coming within, finding that internal balance. First thing this morning, the moon harmonized with Mars in Gemini. So this was at 3 a.m. Pacific time, 6 a.m. Eastern time. You might have felt a surge of energy right when you woke up, or even some really active dreams, some restless sleep earlier in the morning, maybe overnight. But first thing today, tapping into motivation, getting a head start, jumping into action should have felt fairly natural. So that's kind of how we started our Venus day, but it's what's happening this afternoon actually that is really going to give us a taste of that Scorpio intensity that we are walking into. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to fast forward a couple hours here to about 3 p.m. Is this where we are? 1, 2, okay. All right, so you can see the moon at 29 degrees. Already we know that that's going to feel like a lot. The 29th degree, the anaretic degree, the last degree of a sign. We start to feel restless. We start to feel like, okay, what's coming next? We know the moon's moving into another sign. And that in itself could kind of throw us off balance. The theme of the Libra moon over the past couple of days is trying to stay balanced amid imbalanced influences, if that makes sense. So the moon is at 29 degrees and it squares Pluto at 29 degrees this afternoon. The moon squaring Pluto can cause power struggles, outbursts, intense emotions to surface rather unexpectedly. So just acknowledging those emotions, if they do come up for you, for the other people around you, anything that remains out of balance could come up in an abrupt or even an explosive manner. Because remember, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is all about what lives in the shadows and the alchemy that happens when we fully release and allow for a clean slate. And so if there's an intense emotion coming up this afternoon, that goes really all afternoon into the evening, acknowledging, okay, why is this coming up? Is this asking to be released? Most likely that's what's going on, because Pluto wants us to purge, wants us to get things out so we can be reborn and rise like the phoenix from the ashes. But in this releasing phase of the waning gibbous moon, especially with it squaring Pluto, it's like it just wants us to purge whatever is not balanced, whatever is not serving us. And it's almost like an invitation to drop the weight, coming back to the scales of the Libra moon. Like if something is really weighing us down or inhibiting us from evolving, this square to Pluto is like, hey, you got to drop this weight so you can find that balance again. Don't be surprised, though, if people are a little spicy, maybe even a little explosive. That's par for the course with this transit, with the moon squaring Pluto at the 29th degree. And maybe you're already starting to feel that restlessness. Yeah. Thank you, Mars, for getting me out of bed while I'm still getting over a cold. That was the benefit of the trine to Mars this morning, giving us the motivation to get up and get going, right? So things peak this afternoon. After the moon squares Pluto, It's going to move into Scorpio in the following hours, right around 4 p.m. So we'll jump ahead to 4, and you'll see. Oh goodness, I just jumped back. Okay, here we go. Oh, now I'm going by the day. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, bear with me here. Okay, here we are. Okay, the moon is in Scorpio now at 0 degrees as of 4:06 p.m. Pacific time. But notice we go from one connection at a critical degree, the 29th degree, to another connection at a critical degree because Saturn is currently at 0 degrees. And 0 degrees represents eagerness. If the 29th degree is like, let's just get on to the next thing already, the 0 degree is like, oh my gosh, let's go. Let's use this energy. We're so eager. We want to just jump full force into it, especially with the moon in Scorpio. It's like, let's go deep. Let's just immediately go as deep as we can go, get as intimate as we can get. Now, here's what I'll say about this trine to Saturn. So you can even see here, we have almost this simultaneous square to Pluto and the trine to Saturn. These planets don't have the most positive of connotations, right? So this transition from the moon to Libra, from Libra to Scorpio, will likely feel really intense and rather uncomfortable. This is just all afternoon into the evening. Just being real with you here, as the Scorpio moon suggests. Just got to get to the point, got to get to the bottom of it, be real with you, okay? The trine to Saturn, though, will help us out a little bit at the 0 degree because we are eager to find completion, to find maturity, to find practical meaning for things. So Saturn can help us kind of slow down and approach things from our inner adult rather than our inner child. Checking in with how all parts of ourselves are feeling. What came up? Can you find that inner adult to make yourself feel safe to release the things that came up or give those parts of you whatever they're asking for, whatever they're needing? I really like this trine to Saturn because yes, it's playing out at 0 degrees. Yes, it's a water trine, so it should feel very emotional, maybe, like I said, intense. But Saturn is like, okay, how can I see this from the parental perspective? How can I pull the lesson from whatever intensity or pain is coming up right now? So almost just being the authority of your own emotions, being the authority, stepping into that role of all the different parts of yourself that might be expressing different emotions and feeling different things. Saturn is actually helping us out tonight to just slow our roll and logically, practically sort of take stock of things and put the pieces together, helping us better understand and make sense of how we are really feeling. That's how we end our week, with this really tumultuous, intense transition from the Libra moon to the Scorpio moon. But things really heat up on Saturday. So I've been thinking of this sort of as an astrological sandwich. We've got some moon transits on Friday. Saturday, we have 3 major planetary connections that we're going to talk about playing out throughout the day. Sunday, we come back to just focusing on the moon, and Monday is super quiet. So fair warning, we're about to walk into some pretty heavy hitter transits on Saturday, starting with a sextile between Venus and Mars. This will be at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 10 a.m. Eastern time. So let me jump ahead on the chart here. Actually, you can already see this sextile starting to play out between Venus in Aries and Mars in Gemini. So what does this mean for us? This is actually the first time we've experienced a sextile between the moon and Mars in a couple of years because Mars moves a little slower than Venus. So this is at 23 degrees of each sign respectively, noticing if there are any planets, any placements right around that 20 to 25 degree mark of Aries, that 20 to 25 degree mark of Gemini, maybe looking to other air signs and fire signs to see if either of these planets are making connections in your natal chart. That can help you get a clearer understanding of how this is really going to affect you as an individual. But collectively, this sextile between Venus and Mars feels like a really nice way to start our Saturday. We can kind of see this through the lens of the archetypes of Venus and Mars, right? Venus, the lover, Mars, the fighter. Venus, the feminine, Mars, the masculine. Venus is receiving, Mars is giving. And a sextile is kind of like a cosmic handshake. These two planets are working alongside each other, 60 degrees away from one another. Feels very complementary. It feels very natural. And so we can see this as our masculine and feminine energy working together hand in hand, supporting one another. Now, this could be internal, the masculine parts of yourselves really supporting the feminine parts of yourselves and vice versa. It could be you giving yourself what you want to receive, you know, like leaning into both parts of giving and receiving within yourself. And it could look external. It could look like if you identify as more of a feminine being, a masculine being in your life coming in to support you, or vice versa. So there is this nice complementary connection playing out between Venus and Mars. I will say, Venus is in Aries, not super comfortable in Aries either. And with this connection to Mars, there's a lot of Mars energy associated with this transit, which means we could experience quicker movement in relationships, taking action in relationships, and maybe even moving quickly or taking action when it comes to our finances as well. We should feel fairly confident too with Venus in Aries. Connecting with Mars, we'll likely have quick wit with Mars in Gemini. So I would say this is a positive connection, but just be mindful if you're like, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to move really quickly. Like, is that really in your best interest? There's no rush. There's no rush, okay? Especially with the other transits that we're talking about later. There is a little bit of impulsive energy, or quick moving energy. Again, remembering there's no rush. This is really a fantastic aspect, though. I really love that we're experiencing this connection this weekend because it's just an opportunity to see how masculine and feminine energy complement each other so beautifully. This polarity working side by side, working hand in hand is really special, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. Rachel says, so my Mars is at 24 degrees in Gemini, so this is happening during my Mars return. Beautiful. Yeah, Venus is connecting with not only Mars in the Milky Way, but Mars in your natal chart too. So cool. So your ability to receive and your feminine energy is really helping you to take action and push forward, or helping your masculine energy express and be a little bit more outward and external. Sounds like I need to take things slow tomorrow. You know, I think the key, rather than being like, just everybody slow down, because there is going to be the tendency to move quickly. There really is. But making sure that the actions you're taking are aligned with your values. Venus rules our values. Mars, trying to point, Mars rules our actions. Okay, so it's okay to move quickly if you're like, this is a hell yes. Yes, this is aligned with my values. I'm feeling it. I'm excited about it. Even like speaking things out into the world somewhat quickly with Mars and Gemini. If it comes to sharing your love with other people, you know, it's okay if you're feeling like excited about moving quickly, just watching ourselves and not, you know, the reason that comes to mind is because this would be a great transit to meet someone with complementary energy to you. So again, if you identify more feminine, this would be a great transit to encounter someone with that like opposing masculine energy, right? But there could be a tendency to like love bomb or overdo it, or, you know, oh my gosh, we get along so well. I'm really excited about it. Let's go home together. Let's, you know, I don't know. I haven't dated in a long time, but there is no rush. If it's meant to be, it will be. If it's aligned, it will play out in divine timing. So if something is lighting you up and you're feeling excited about it, asking, is this aligned action? Is this supportive action? And if I'm not sure, it's okay to wait. Rachel says, still feel like I'm in a fog, but I see that break in the fog and I'm just bracing myself as I move forward. Clarity would be nice. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Remembering, though, that all weekend we're in this releasing phase. We're coming into the last quarter moon next week. So, maybe it's not so much that we're seeking clarity, or it's not the time to seek clarity about how to move forward, but to seek a little bit more clarity about what to release so we can create the space to move forward from an aligned place. Maybe, if that resonates with you. Okay, so this is transit 1 of 3 major transits on Saturday. First thing in the morning, we wake up, Venus sextile Mars. Then by the afternoon, Mercury and Uranus form that same angle to one another. This is 1 p.m. Pacific time, so 4 p.m. Eastern time. So let's just jump ahead, and you'll see this sextile between Mercury at 15 degrees, Uranus at 15 degrees, another little 60-degree angle playing out there. What does this mean? What does this mean for us? Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's in Pisces, so we have this heightened imagination, heightened intuition that is helping us download things from the ethers with Mercury and Pisces. Uranus and Taurus is creating physical change, more practical or tactile change, if that makes sense. So when these two planets connect in a sextile, insights are possible, innovative ideas. Uranus is the planet of innovation, especially if we're willing to kind of expand the limits of our mind with Mercury and Pisces. Uranus on the other end of this sextile can open us up to innovation and to transformative or evolutionary concepts to come through. This to me feels like just being an open channel for those light bulb moments to happen. If you find yourself daydreaming about change, that is totally on point for this transit. And with Uranus and Taurus, I could see also a lot of news or even confusion with Mercury and Pisces about what's going on with the physical weather, the physical earth. I could see over the next couple days some sort of like news article coming out about climate change or about weather patterns or something like that, because Uranus and Taurus, as we've talked about so many times, really puts the focus in this era on the physical transformation of the earth. But Mercury and Pisces could bring through a dreamy idea or an innovative idea even about what to do about it, you know, how to think from a higher level about solutions to climate change. Creative ideas can be channeled. Both of these energies really activate our intuition. So allowing yourself, again, to just be that channel creativity, whether you're painting or drawing or doing something to kind of occupy. I can never remember left and right brain, but I think it's your left brain that's more analytical and your right brain that's more creative. Whatever it is, occupying the side of your brain that's more analytical through like coloring or something like that. So the creative part of your brain can just allow those insights to flow through. The key here is just staying open. That's how we can lean into this sextile and get the full benefit from it. Just staying open to ideas, staying open to thinking outside the box, staying open to daydreaming. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll be dreaming about something and then my analytical mind just kind of shuts it down because it's like, no, I don't have time for that. Or, oh gosh, like another idea. I don't know. I just have a million ideas, maybe as a manifesting generator or something. I'm just like constant ideas and I have to just put some to the side. Keeping a journal handy on Saturday afternoon and just jotting those ideas down to come back to later, taking the pressure off of doing something productive with any ideas that come through and just allowing yourself to be in the dream state with Mercury and Pisces. So I love that we start the day with this balance between masculine and feminine. And then as the day goes on, insights start to come through. And I don't know, it seems like a really special day. Seems like a really special day for some breakthroughs. Going to remain open to whatever the transits are going to bring. I mean, that's all we can always do, right? Is just stay open to the energy. But yeah, keep that journal handy. Mercury is also making a sextile to my Uranus and Neptune conjunction too, definitely enhancing this energy. I plan on being creative this weekend and try to make some of my ideas a reality. Beautiful. Yeah. And again, just remember, take the pressure off of yourself. Like, just let it be fun. Let it be freeing. Uranus wants us to be free. So let those ideas feel freeing and trust that they're flowing through in divine timing. If they're coming to you, they're meant for you. Those little gold nuggets from the universe, like, hey, this is an idea I'm giving to you. You don't have to do anything with it right now, but just jot it down. Just jot it down and be open to it and see how it evolves and blooms. See ideas as the seeds being planted, and they might take a little time to germinate and to, bloom and flower, but it's all about divine timing, right? Okay, that is transit 2 of 3 on Saturday. Then on Saturday night, so we'll definitely be feeling this into Sunday as well, Jupiter comes into that conjunction with Chiron. And honestly, not only will we be feeling this into Sunday, but we're already feeling it, especially because it's a conjunction. We are definitely experiencing the blending of Jupiter and Chiron at the same point in the night sky for us. This is playing out at 14 degrees. And remembering that Jupiter is like a magnifying glass. Jupiter enhances and amplifies anything that it touches, anything that it connects to. So as Jupiter passes over Chiron, Chiron being that icy outer body in the asteroid belt known as the wounded healer, Jupiter is going to amplify our wounding. It's like putting a big magnifying glass on our wounds, on our pain. And with this conjunction playing out in Aries, it could feel triggering. It could feel a little aggressive, could feel a little hot, a little spicy, a little edgy, right? I will say there's beauty here and there's potential here for a couple reasons. Yes, it's playing out in Aries. Yes, we're talking about the wounded healer, but remembering that Chiron is the wounded healer. So not only is Jupiter amplifying our wounds, but it's also creating an amplified opening for healing potential for us to see what the next steps are along our healing journey. And in Aries, it is this very activating, action-oriented energy. So like, what next step are we going to take to heal this? Okay, it's like, you can think of this in a very literal sense. Like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this gaping wound. It's bleeding. It's open. It's like in our face, right? What are we going to do about it? Like, we need to jump into action, right? So there is this potential for healing. And especially when it comes to Jupiter being such an optimistic energy, the great benefic, allowing us to see silver linings, allowing us to see potential more easily. It's almost like, as silly as it sounds, like giving thanks for this conjunction, giving thanks for the ability to easily feel and see our wounds. So we're no longer suppressing them, so we can actually tend to them and heal them, right? So noticing if we're feeling a little pain, we're feeling our triggers flare up on Saturday or even into Sunday, and remembering Jupiter is there to help us see the potential for healing in this situation. We can never heal if we never acknowledge our wounds. So this is definitely an opportunity to do that. And we won't experience another conjunction between Jupiter and Chiron like this, I believe, for another 12 years or so. So this is really a powerful moment for healing. It's interesting as well because healing and trauma have been popular over the past couple of years, specifically since the pandemic, since we were all forced to be inside and face ourselves, right? Healing has become mainstream. It's not just something happening behind closed doors in a therapist's office. It's something people are posting about online and talking about with their friends, and including in everyday jargon and everyday conversation. Oh, my healing journey, or, oh, this trauma that I experienced. Like, oh, just by the way, let's just chat about our trauma. This is a powerful moment to heal whatever has been coming up for you, whatever has been realized over the past couple years, especially, but maybe even longer. Maybe this is something that slowly you've been becoming more and more aware of over time. And this conjunction between Jupiter and Chiron reminds us that good fortune is on our side. There is growth potential when we commit to our healing and even just take one baby step, one action in the direction of healing. That can snowball, and even that one seemingly small action could have a much bigger effect, especially with Jupiter involved in this conjunction. Oh, good, Rachel. She says, I really like this perspective. So many wounds have been coming up, and I am open to receiving whatever comes up or comes next. This conjunction is also squaring my Uranus, so I think it's forcing me to, oh my gosh, I'm on the edge of my seat. Here it is. Look at things differently and really lean into the growth this healing can bring. So much activation. Yeah, lots going on with your Uranus too, Rachel. So that's something to look at for any millennials watching this. Many of us have Uranus and Neptune in a conjunction in Capricorn. So definitely squaring some of this Aries energy. And with Mercury and Pisces, there's also supportive aspects to those Uranus-Neptune placements. Great time to heal, great time to change, evolve, transform, and innovate. Hello, happy Friday to you. So those are the main 3 transits we're experiencing. Again, I really love how much positivity we have in the forecast and potential we have in the forecast leading up to this, because it's really going to help us prepare ourselves to take actions in a more aligned way, in a more balanced way, and be open to doing things a little differently. But let's talk about what's happening with the Scorpio moon all day on Saturday as well. So first thing, Saturday morning, under the deep, dark, intense Scorpio moon, the moon is going to come into a conjunction with the South Node and a square to Lilith at the same time. So let me jump back here and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see. I keep just clicking the wrong buttons. I will say also Mercury and Pisces, for me, as someone ruled by Mercury, I'm like, okay, I love the dreamy energy. I love the idea energy, but Mercury does not like to be in Pisces, and it's not very clear for me. So I'm having a lot of moments where I'm like, what is going on right now? Okay, I think we're close enough now. So you can see, yes, the moon in a conjunction to the South Node in Scorpio, opposing the North Node in Taurus, and squaring Lilith in Leo. Remember what we talked about just a couple days ago now. Lilith squaring the North and South nodes. So the Scorpio moon is definitely activating this energy, forcing us to find our empowerment, but also this feels like another little purge. When the moon forms a conjunction to the South Node, it's like leave the past in the past, especially the deep stuff from the past that you've just been storing down there, just pushing down, not wanting to acknowledge. The Scorpio moon takes us to those depths and digs up. It might be digging up some stuff from the past during this conjunction to the South Node. Let it go. It's time to let it go. That might be part of the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction. Healing could just be the decision to let shit go under this conjunction to the South Node, especially under the waning moon coming into the last quarter moon. It's purging energy. It's releasing energy. It's time to leave the past in the past. What? Clicker McGee? Is it because I was clicking all over the place? Anyway. Now, I will say, the moon in Scorpio, I know I've said intense a million times, but it's worth saying again, can be intense, can bring up intense emotions, can bring up uncomfortable emotions. A conjunction to the South Node can make it very easy to fall into past patterning. During this conjunction to the South Node, asking ourselves, am I acting from a place of who I currently am and who I'm becoming, or am I acting or feeling like I used to feel? Acknowledging that, because the thing about a conjunction to the South Node is that it creates an exact opposition to the North Node. So we can clearly see where we're supposed to go. We know the direction we're meant to head, even if it seems far away, even if it's easier to just get into our comfort zone and feel a little icky and ruminate in the past. The goal here is to release it. And with this square to Lilith playing out at the same time, there's empowerment in the release. Might even feel bold. It might even feel magnetic to be like, I am no longer that version of myself. I am no longer repeating those patterns. It's done. I'm releasing it. I will say as well, with the full moon in Virgo a few days ago, it really illuminated a lot of patterning for a lot of us, a lot of habits that need to be broken. And that might be why it's felt intense for a lot of people, because it's not easy work acknowledging our own patterning, okay? If you are doing the work to better yourself, to witness your own patterns, to ask, Is this really serving me? Is this who I want to be? Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a round of applause, okay? So that's come up for a lot of people, and it might have felt uncomfortable. The moon in Scorpio gives us this opportunity to let go of that past patterning. And again, with the square to Lilith, it's easy to be bitchy. It's easy to be kind of mean or hostile when we're in discomfort, I will say. So it's all too easy to kind of let that inner bitch take the wheel, especially if we don't feel great. Try not to take other people down into the past ickiness with you. Find the empowerment, tap into your own expression and your own fire within, and be like, we're burning that shit down. We're not burning anybody down with it. This is about me. This is about my patterning. This is about my empowerment, taking the wheel, taking control of my life, and pointing myself in the direction of my highest calling by releasing past energy that no longer serves me. And when we're talking about the South Node, this could be past lives. This could be stuff that didn't even happen in this lifetime, that, you know, ancestral trauma, ancestral pain that you've just been carrying in your body. If it's coming up, even if it doesn't make logical sense, speaking of Mercury and Pisces, not everything makes sense all the time. Let it go. Find that empowerment for yourself. It's so empowering to just be like, nope, I don't want to be that version of myself anymore. And I don't have to. And I don't have to have shame around that. And I don't have to shame other people or take any discomfort out on other people. I can just decide, under this conjunction to the South Node, she gone. That version of me is gone. Yeah. Yes, Corby. Healing is on the menu. Rather it be served now than later. Snaps to that. I'm ready to move forward. We've come a long way and I don't want to go back. Yes. Beautiful. And if you've already been doing the work and you've already been in this place of healing and releasing, I don't think these transits will feel too intense, hopefully, for those of you who've been on this journey. But I think it's worth understanding that there are going to be people who haven't wanted to do their own healing work, who haven't committed to seeing all parts of themselves and growing. And these transits might feel more uncomfortable for them. So giving people grace. The square to Lilith could bring in this tendency to want to control or manipulate other people, especially with the moon in Scorpio. Like, no, you just need to heal. You need to let that shit go, you know? Everybody's on their own journey. If you want to, in a gentle way, encourage people to maybe let some stuff go, just send them this video, okay? Don't get involved in their healing. Let them be on their own journey, because we are more prone to manipulation and control under this transit. Okay, enough about the South Node and Lilith. 8 p.m. on Saturday night, again, things start to get a little spicy. So pull it up on the chart. Let's see. Just jump ahead 12 hours here if I can. If I can figure out how to work the chart today. All right. So we have the moon opposing Uranus. Okay. We know that brings some changes, some shifts, some surprises. And shortly after, the moon is going to trine Mercury. So you can see that playing out. Essentially, that sextile between Mercury and Uranus we just talked about, the moon is going to come into a connection with both of them. Let's start with this opposition to Uranus that happens right around 8 p.m. Pacific time. Upsets are possible. Again, surprises are possible. Wild weather is possible with Uranus and Taurus. Things that feel out of our control might be happening as Saturday goes on. So the phrase that came up when I was writing the forecast, as within, so without. The moon in Scorpio taking us deep within. Uranus and Taurus showing us the external physical changes, making us clearly see the external physical changes that are happening in our life, whether it be with the weather or with the people around us. As within, so without. Notice how the external changes and transformations and shifts that are happening are affecting your internal state. And also sort of a concept of, manifestation or quantum physics or whatever you want to call it, is notice how your own internal state, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling irritated or activated, is affecting your external environment. Remembering that we are like human batteries. Whatever energy we're holding, we are emitting that frequency to the world around us. And that can have a ripple effect, which is why when we are like in a high vibe, energetic state and we're feeling great, it's like, put that out, share that with the world. Your light lights the world, but also be mindful of how your external environment, how the upsets or changes around you might be somewhat affected by your own internal energy that you are projecting. How are the external storms, if you will, that are rolling through a reflection of your internal experience? Quite simply, stay open to changes. Know that surprises and changes, maybe some breakdowns, could happen on Saturday night. Might even be part of that whole releasing the past, our wounds being very amplified with the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction. That can create some instability. Stay open to it. Remember that sometimes you have to have a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough, and the Scorpio moon opposing Uranus and Taurus can definitely cause that breakdown energy. Now, here's where there's the healing potential on the other side. The moon harmonizes with Mercury, right? And Mercury in Pisces brings through this compassion, brings through this empathy, this daydream vibe. And the moon harmonizing with Mercury is like, okay, yeah, maybe things are tumultuous. Maybe there's a breakdown happening. Maybe we feel out of control. But how can we stay open to the insights, the lessons, the information, the data that the universe is sending to us? What can we do with this? How can we communicate more compassionately? How can we feel into other people's energy and communicate accordingly? Not necessarily taking on their energy, but just assessing like, oh, I can see my friend, my partner, my child, my parent is having a hard time. They're going through some transformative stuff. Their wounds are being amplified. They're experiencing some pain. The moon's in Scorpio. Mercury in Pisces can help us not only have the rational awareness of empathy and compassion and like, oh, I see that. I can see how you are feeling, but also help us communicate accordingly. Like, hey, I noticed you might be having a little bit of a hard time. Is there anything I can do for you? Would you like some space? Would you like some love right now? Would you like a hug? What can I do for you? And sometimes people don't have the answer, and that's okay. But just noticing it'll be a little easier to communicate with compassion, and it'll be easier to bring through realizations and insights as well, with Mercury and Uranus still connecting at night and the moon harmonizing with Mercury. That could be the breakthrough moment, the aha moment that comes right after a breakdown. And when we say breakdown and breakthrough, it doesn't have to be like the biggest breakdown of your life. It doesn't have to be your dark night of the soul happening on Saturday. Maybe it is. And if it is, we're sending you love because a lot of us have been there, right? But might just be a little argument, a little tiff, a little spat, or something physically breaking, and it's like, in the moment. And then something could happen after that's like, oh, this is why that was meant to happen, or this is what I can learn from that experience. Just being able to have more compassion for ourselves and for others. Corby says, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about what you said about being a witness to others, not force or do anything, but listen and support. Mercury harmonizing with the moon. The moon in Scorpio allows us to be intimate and vulnerable and go deep with people, right? And to go deep within ourselves. And Mercury's harmony to the moon on Saturday night is just adding that layer of emotion and compassion and empathy and support. So perfect for what you're saying, Corby. A perfect opportunity to witness, resisting the tendency to control or manipulate under the Scorpio moon, just witnessing and being like, can I support you right now? What would be the most supportive thing I can do? And not being offended if the most supportive thing you can do is to leave that person alone, or, if they're not able to be as kind or compassionate as you are in the moment. That's okay. We've all been there, right? That's the definition of empathy, being like, oh, I know how that feels. Ooh, I am so sorry you're feeling that way. Rachel says, really feeling this purge. I'm getting to the point where I don't want to let what others say affect me anymore. I was just telling my friend this on the phone. I'm finding my confidence to push forward. Yeah, and that's part of protecting your energy, which I know you've been working on so much. Words are energy. And so envisioning, you have a strong aura. I know you have a lot of 12th house placements. So really protecting your actual energy and being like, it's like the I am rubber, you are glue thing. Thinking of your aura as a nice, bouncy light bubble. And if somebody is saying something to you that you don't want to enter your energy, that you don't want to take on, it's like return to sender peacefully, or even return it with a little more love and light than it came to me with, right? And do and be who I want to be. And you're already there. You're already on the right track. Yes, it feels very, what is this teaching me? Yeah, what is this all teaching me? That's the trine between Mercury and the moon. It's like it's very as above, so below. Like insights coming from above with Mercury and Pisces, bringing us down and integrating into the deeper parts of ourselves. Being able to really ground that and digest isn't the right word, but like let it sink in, if you will. What is this all teaching me? Yeah, we are so proud of you, Rachel. Even just over the past year or so, seeing your transformation is amazing. And give yourself credit for that. This is a very transformative weekend for all of us. So could just be an opportunity. Gosh, Mercury and Pisces is like literally jumbling my words. Giving yourself an opportunity to reflect under this waning gibbous moon, a very reflective energy, reflecting on the transformation you have already undergone, the innovation that you've already cultivated, and the person that you are becoming, while also honoring and loving all the versions of yourself that have brought you here. That feels like part of the conjunction between the Scorpio moon and the South Node. Honoring and loving all those parts of yourselves, even the ones that you want to release. Like, ooh, okay, that pattern not serving me anymore, but at some point that pattern kept me safe and that pattern helped me out. And so I can love that part of me while also saying, okay, we're done with you, no more, thank you. Yeah, that's our Saturday. Let's move into Sunday, which is another day where we're just feeling into the Scorpio moon. So a couple transits that we experience on Sunday, starting first thing Sunday morning, perfect for Sunday, ruled by the sun. Just jump ahead a day here, maybe 12 hours actually. Yes, and we'll see a harmony between, maybe we need one more hour, the moon and the sun. There it is. The moon in Scorpio, the sun in Pisces, forming this watery, harmonious trine to one another, really helping us flow into that energy of as above, so below, pulling in insights and also allowing ourselves to express externally, as the moon represents our internal emotions, the sun represents our external expression. The moon and the sun harmonizing, this happens at least once a month, I think twice a month. It's an opportunity to be confident, to be like, yeah, there are these deep parts of myself that I kind of like to keep private. Hello, Scorpio moon. There are things that I like to mask or hide, but under this trine between the moon and sun, we can express those things confidently. Even our deepest and most private emotions can be seen. And with the sun in Pisces, it could almost feel compassionate to be vulnerable. Something that keeps coming up as I'm picturing this energy and sharing it with you all is like relationships, this showing up as we relate to other people. And it's a reminder, this harmony between the moon and the sun, that when we share confidently our deepest emotions, our darkest emotions, the parts of ourselves that aren't necessarily the prettiest or easiest to share, that is so empowering for other people to witness. Like, oh, she's sharing that part of herself that maybe she was ashamed of at one point, or that, has this shameful connotation or this dark connotation. If she's sharing that, then it's okay for me to feel those things too. It's okay for me to share those parts of myself too. That is shadow work 101, if you ask me, like just acknowledging that we all have shadows and we all have parts of ourselves that we want to repress and push down. Letting the darker parts of ourselves be seen can not only inspire others, under the Pisces sun, but it also can be incredibly cathartic as the moon is more and more coming into its releasing phase. Healing can happen when we just allow ourselves to let those deep things flow out of us with love and compassion and vulnerability and empathy. That is a superpower in itself. So remembering as the sun shines light on the Scorpio moon, as they harmonize, that all parts of your identity, all parts of yourselves, even the icky, dark things that you don't think are acceptable, all parts of yourself deserve to be in the light, deserve to be seen, and sharing them can be so empowering, not only for you, but for the people around you. We are totally different people than we were when we first joined this stream. That goes for all of us, me too. It's on my list, hopefully soon. It's on my very long list to update the intro and the outro for these live streams. And every time I see some of the image or the videos in the outro from when I first started the live stream, I'm like, wow, who is she? She is a totally different person over a year ago. And it's so cool to just witness that, right? We're not meant to stay the same, and we're all here supporting each other's growth. And I hope that by me sharing the darker parts of myself, it has given you permission to share the same, you know, and I see that every day on the chat. It's so empowering when you're all like, yeah, I'm feeling this today. It's not great. And other people are like, oh, I've been there, or we're sending you love, or me too. Like, that is the energy of Sunday. It's like, you've already gotten tons of practice here on the live stream, right? So take that into your everyday life, your relationships outside of this community, if you feel called, because it's such an empowering thing to be witnessed and witness other people's deep emotions. This is on top of my Pluto. The transformative transits continue, Rachel, and my moon is close by. Really interested to see how this plays out. Give yourself grace. Know that this very transformative energy playing out for you is divine. It's supposed to happen. How can you release your grip, release your control a little bit, and just let it flow? Speaking of letting it flow, the next transit we'll talk about is another trine in the afternoon on Sunday between the moon and Neptune. So you can already see that playing out. There it is. The sun and Neptune are coming into a conjunction in the next few days as well. We'll chat about that next week. So we're feeling that it's easier to experience compassion and empathy and be in that dreamy state right now. This is like Pisces season to the max, with the moon and Neptune coming into a conjunction in Pisces. So the moon harmonizing with Neptune just takes that ability to be compassionate to the next level, and reminds us that, again, things don't have to make rational sense. It's okay for it to be a little foggy, it to be a little cloudy, for us to not see the exact step-by-step plan coming up next, for us to just be in the moment of transformation and trust that it's all unfolding as it's supposed to. Now, as the moon harmonizes with Neptune, this is 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, you might feel tired. That's like definitely a possibility, needing an afternoon nap. This is a really potent opportunity to tap into the subconscious, with the moon and the subconscious sign of Scorpio, and the sun and Neptune and the sign of Pisces, which is also very subconscious or unconscious energy. It's a really powerful moment to either take a nap and really pay attention to the dreams that come through. In the dream workshop I took a few weeks ago, I think I've shared this, but many artists use naps as a way to get inspiration, because the way dream state works and the REM cycle works, if you take a short nap, you're more likely to drop directly into dream state. So paying attention, if you're feeling sleepy and you happen to take a Sunday nap, to any messages that came through in your sleep. I will say also meditation would be very powerful, tapping into your subconscious state in any way that feels good for you, even through creativity, as we talked about, that right brain, left brain, occupying the practical side of your brain, so you can just allow insights and subconscious intuitive information to flow through. The moon harmonizing with Neptune is giving us a really great opportunity to allow the voice inside of us that doesn't dictate the thoughts at the top of our mind to speak a little bit louder and to come through and to be heard. So pay attention, trust your intuition, Allow your subconscious to have the space to share whatever is coming up for you. Okay, and the final transit of the Scorpio moon is going to be very late. I don't know why I put the chart away because I'm just going to pull it right back up. Very late on Sunday night, and it's going to be a sextile to Pluto. So jump ahead a few hours here. Okay, here it is. The moon at 29 degrees forming a sextile to Pluto at 29 degrees. This is supporting our transformation. Again, it's like, okay, all of this stuff came up over the weekend. I know how I'm transforming. I just want to be there already. I want to be at the end of the transformation already. There is that restlessness and that desire to sort of control it and to find the closure and to make it concrete and just move on to the next thing already. But again, being in the moment, knowing that it's all unfolding in divine timing, and just using this energy to be almost like the researcher or observer of your own transformation. This is a really beautiful sextile, even at the 29th degree, to just say like, wow, look how far I've come. And if I have already transformed this much over a short period of time, I can only imagine how much more transformation, innovation, upgrade is ahead of me. And it's okay not to control it, not to manipulate it, but instead to just let it happen. So if you're feeling that tendency to control, that's normal on Sunday night, but instead just maybe use this energy to reflect on the transformation that you've already undergone and give yourself some credit. And as promised, I'm going to take you into Monday as well, because I actually have one of my best friends coming to visit. So I won't be going live on Monday, but lucky for us, it's pretty much the most basic forecast on Monday you could even imagine. The moon is going to move into Sagittarius right after midnight Pacific time on Monday morning. I think it's 12:21 a.m. So 3:30 in the morning, basically, for those of you on the East Coast. I love that we start the week with a Sagittarius moon. I love it because it's optimistic, it's vibrant, it's seeing the positive, it's pulling back the bow of the archer and like shooting ourselves forward for the upcoming week. Keep in mind, we're again coming into the last quarter moon. So we start Monday on a high note, inviting us to let go and let God. It's easier to have faith over the coming days. It's easier to see silver linings. And there's a sense of freedom and even abundance that comes from letting go. It's like we did the deep work over the weekend to figure out what we are letting go and kind of push that process of transformation along. But on Monday, it's like, okay, we've got the bow pulled back. All we have to do is release the weight, let it go, release the tension that came up from the Scorpio moon, and we are on our way. We are growing, we are expanding, we are seeing the positive potential. Yes, please, for a Monday. The only connection that the Sagittarius moon makes all day on Monday is right when it moves into Sagittarius, because we remember we have Saturn at 0 degrees of Pisces still. So when the moon hits 0 degrees of Sagittarius, it's going to square Saturn. Luckily, most of us will be asleep when this happens. So that's a nice little way to bypass a square to Saturn. But just notice late Sunday night, maybe even early Monday morning, if fears or doubts are popping up, maybe you even have some fearful dreams, some worries ruminating in your subconscious. Notice that and notice, okay, do I have to listen to this part of myself that's telling me that I'm not good enough, or that, you know, is almost disapproving of whatever's happening in my life? We don't have to believe every little worry, every little fear, every little doubt that pops into our head. Luckily, with the moon in Sagittarius, this feels like it's going to be like maybe a brief moment, if we even feel it at all, because of the timing. And then it's like, okay, whatever, Saturn, like, we hear you. This is how to be safe about it. This is how to be practical. But also, the moon is in Sagittarius, and it's time to party and have fun a little bit. And like, you don't necessarily have to buy into everything Saturn's saying. So there could just be that moment Sunday night or Monday morning that's like, but what if I let myself be free and have fun and something bad happens? What if I'm not actually done with this transformation and it comes back up to haunt me. Sagittarius moon is like, you can't control it anyway, so just let it go. Just be free, have fun, expand, grow. If you have to deal with this again, it'll pop back up at some point. You'll deal with it then. But let your inner optimist take control on Monday morning and get excited about the week ahead, because truly that is the power of Sagittarius energy, is being able to be positive and see the abundance in every situation. Loving this start for us on Monday morning. Another positive for Saturn and Pisces. Even the Sag squares are optimistic. Yeah, and Saturn and Pisces too is like just the general energy of Saturn at 0 degrees of Pisces is like dreaming about all the lessons we're going to learn in the next couple years. Like, what's it going to bring? It feels very like dreamy. And maybe also the doubts that are coming up could be a little bit like delusional. They might not totally make sense. Saturn and Pisces is a really interesting dynamic here. So noticing, like, am I just worrying about something that's not even real? Am I just worrying about a what if, or almost like deluding myself into thinking something bad could happen? The Sagittarius moon is like, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. We're going to take that worry and just be like, nope, we're going to use that as fuel to be more optimistic. We are saying no to the fear. We are saying no to Saturn and just launching ourselves forward into the week ahead. So that's the forecast. Let's bring it back to the affirmation that kicks off our entire weekend, which is, gotta rewind here. I think this is going to be perfect to come back to if you are feeling intensity over the weekend from the Scorpio moon, and that is this. I'm willing to explore all parts of myself. Scorpio moon energy is like going deep into those dark, shadowy parts. I just pictured, if you've watched the Titanic, the little submarine machine they have that goes down and it like shines a light on the old ship, and they're finding the safe and they're finding different things. That's how I picture our shadows. Like, we are taking a submarine down into the parts of ourselves that have gotten a little rusty, gained a little moss, they've been underwater for a long time. Let's just be willing to explore what's down there. Is there anything we want to bring up into the light? Is there anything we want to excavate and release from this shipwreck down there? So being willing to see all parts of yourself with love, even the parts that you don't think are worthy of being seen. I am willing to explore all parts of myself, knowing that they are all worthy of love. And we'll finish up. I'm going to do a 4-card tarot pull from this little tiny tarot deck, the Everyday Tarot deck by Biddy Tarot. I think that's who it's by. And we'll pull a card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday just to see what quick little messages are coming through for each day. So as I shuffle up the deck, as always, this is your time to ask any final questions, share any final insights. Let me know what your weekend plans are. Rachel says, I love this. I plan on doing a bit of introspection journaling this weekend, and I'm hoping it helps gain clarity by going within and embracing my shadows. Yeah. Perfect time to do some introspection under the waning gibbous moon. That is what this moon phase is for. It's for looking within. It's for processing what came up during that Virgo full moon and during Saturn's transition into Pisces. Honestly, a lot of people are like, wow, what was it with this full moon? I'm like, well, at the same time, Saturn moved into a new sign and we have Pluto at 29 degrees. Like, it's going to feel intense. I don't know what to tell you. It's not just the full moon. I even saw a different astrologer call it a super moon. And I'm like, it's literally not a super moon. It's just because all of these other things are happening at the same time that it feels extra intense. So wherever you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Just taking this weekend to get to know yourself a little better, to be a little introspective, and give yourself credit for how far you've come. I'm glad it aligned like it always does. I love astrology. It always amazes me, right? It's always on point. Ooh, okay, there's our first card. Corby says, finalizing the journal deets today and over the weekend. Also going to visit my grandparents. Oh, I love that. So excited for you. Okay. The first card popped out at me. So let's see. What do we need to know for Saturday? Okay. What message is coming through for Sunday? And finally, what do we need to know for Monday? Okay. All right. Here we go. Our Friday card, our card for today, if you're finding this video on Friday, is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So I always give the disclaimer that I'm not a tarot expert. I just rely on the guidebook. If you are finding this video later and you are a tarot expert, feel free to comment if there are any other insights or connections that you are seeing from these card pulls. But I like this deck because it's just nice, easy little messages. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse says, be cautious about accepting or making an offer related to your finances or career. The timing isn't right, and it may not come to fruition as expected. Assess the feasibility of your idea before proceeding. Okay, interesting. It's like if you're having ideas come through, this feels very Mercury and Pisces. Oh my gosh, I have this big dream, this big idea. Is it practical? Is it feasible, as the guidebook says? Remembering we don't have to act on things right this moment. It doesn't have to happen right now. Okay, I hear you, universe. Not really sure if that connects to the forecast at all, but we will take the message. Be cautious about accepting or making any offers today, and just press pause if you have an idea coming through. Okay, our Saturday card is the Five of Pentacles upright. And the Five of Pentacles says, wow, you are experiencing financial loss, poverty, and feel isolated and alone. Help is nearby, but you are too focused on your financial problems to notice. You may be sabotaging your ability to create abundance by focusing only on what you lack. A lot of financial stuff coming through today. All right, universe, I hear you. I think this is a great reminder of wounding. You know, Jupiter forming a conjunction to Chiron over the weekend. A lot of us have financial wounds. Any sort of loss, isolation, worry that's coming up, remembering that you're not alone. There are people around you that want to help and support you. And you being in a fear mentality or a lack mentality could be sabotaging your ability to call in abundance. Ooh. Just dropped that card as I was saying that. So, you know, coming back to you attract what you put out energetically. What are you putting out? Are you putting out abundance? I'm abundant. It's all good. Or are you putting out, oh my gosh, I need money right now. I'm so worried about money, because that's going to attract that energy back to you. Interesting. So to make this a positive, focus on your abundance rather than on what you lack. Okay. The Five of Cups in reverse is our Sunday card. And here is what the Five of Cups says. It is time to move on. Oh, are there two cards here? Oh my goodness, there were two cards stuck together. Okay, Sunday gets two messages. It's time to move on. What has happened can't be changed. Let go of what no longer serves you emotionally and open up to the new opportunities available to you. Perfect, perfect, perfect for the transition from the Scorpio moon to the Sagittarius moon, for the moon conjunct the South Node. Letting go of what no longer serves you emotionally opens you up to the new opportunities available to you. Perfect, perfect, perfect for the nodal activation we experience on Sunday, and just for the Scorpio moon in general. But the card that was hiding behind it, stuck to it, was actually the very next card in the deck, the Six of Cups upright, which says, you are filled with happy memories from the past. Like reuniting with childhood friends or high school crushes, you feel carefree and imaginative. You bring harmony and cooperation to your current relationships. Love this. Love this for us on Sunday. Even the South Node activation could bring up positive parts of your past. So being willing to explore all parts of yourself, you might be surprised by the people or the memories that pop up as well. Love this. Kind of like a double-edged sword there of going into our past. For the first two cards, Rachel says, don't act out of fear. Take time to heal and then act. I love that interpretation. Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. A message that actually keeps popping up for me. It's not time to act, especially being stuck in fear. Let the fear pass before you act. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Hello, Rose. I'm probably talking super fast if you're watching at 2 times the speed. Happy to see you pop into the chat. Okay, and then our Monday card is a very popular card, and that is the 3 of Swords. 3 swords plunging into a heart. It came through upright, and so Monday's message is you are feeling hurt and disappointed, taking others' negative words to heart. You feel loss, heartbreak, grief, and sorrow. This will pass. Work on releasing the pain and forgiving those who have hurt you. This is the reminder, releasing the pain, right? All this pain, this wounding that we became aware of over the weekend, like the Sagittarius arrow. Release the pain. It'll shoot you into the future. It will shoot you towards abundance. You just have to release the weight of what's weighing you down, right? And the 3 of Swords is such a popular card because it's like, look at that visual, like the 3 swords plunging into the heart, but it's also signifying, it very much feels like the Jupiter-Chiron conjunction. When we become aware of our wounds, of what's hurting, it's easier to heal them. So releasing the pain, this will pass, forgiving the people that have hurt you so you can heal, so you can move forward, so you aren't, as Rachel brought up, acting out of fear and pain and lack, and instead acting from a place of love and healing and wholeness. Take the lessons, leave the pain. Love that quote you said before, and I actually have that written on a sticky note on my computer. This is the power of being vulnerable. This is the power of having a Scorpio moon. Actually, let me tell you, because I didn't come up with the phrase, take the lessons, leave the pain. One of my mentors, Kat from Crystal Rising, who also has a Scorpio moon, came up with that. And my little Scorpio moon heart was like, oh my gosh, boom. That was life-changing. And so I started sharing that with you all, with everyone that I came across. Take the lessons, leave the pain. And I just want to acknowledge that that came from her experiencing her own pain, going deep into her own pain, and being vulnerable enough and compassionate enough to herself to share that with others, knowing that it would be empowering, knowing, okay, I figured out how to handle my pain and witness my pain by taking the lessons, and other people can benefit from this too. So just, I want to do a painting of it. Oh, that would be so cool. So just goes to show what we were talking about earlier. When we are vulnerable, when we are willing to go into all parts of ourselves, that's empowering for others. That can be transformative for others too. With the moon in Scorpio, it is a time of deep transformation. So your ability to share your heart, to share your vulnerability, to silence the voice of fear that tells you you're too much, or that it's too much for people to handle, or it's too ugly, or it's too dark, silencing that Saturnian voice and being vulnerable anyway is one of the most empowering things we can do, not only for ourselves, but for others too. All right, well, on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to thank each and every one of you who continue to show up here in this community for each other, for yourselves, who continue to be vulnerable and share what's on your heart, giving other people permission to do the same. I hope you know that this is a safe space and that I see so much potential in each and every one of you just because you are here, just because you're willing to do this work that is reflecting on what's going on internally. So thank you. If you are new here, welcome. Know that this is a safe, respectful community. I'm seeing a few comments popping up that I'm not a huge fan of, but that's all right. We're not, something that Rachel said, not letting other people's words affect us. Say what you want. I am rubber, you are glue. And with that, I will send you all off on such a beautiful weekend ahead. even dark moments can be very beautiful too. So there's nothing to fear. Everything is happening exactly as it should for your ultimate evolution, your ultimate growth, and your ultimate transformation. Exactly right, Rachel. Have a good weekend. Love you all. You are not alone. You are supported. I can't wait to see what insights came through, what transformation came up for each of you when I come back to stream with you all on Tuesday, taking a couple days off to spend time with one of my very best friends. So I will see you all on Tuesday. But until I see you next, have a beautiful weekend. And as always, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.